All right, South Carolina suffers a 21-17 loss to Illinois in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl on Tuesday afternoon, going into now night here in Orlando, Florida. But here's the thing. Look, South Carolina lost this game. It's a tough one. You finish 9-4 on the year. You come up one win short of a 10-win season, something that's only happened 4 times in program history before today. But for better or for worse, this game probably will end up being remembered for a lot of other reasons. And let's just get the elephants out of the room, because there's a hurting stampede coming through right now. The Shane Beamer, Brett Bielema situation. In case you missed it, I believe it was in the second half. South Carolina was getting ready to return a kickoff, and I'll try to do what happened here, but you see Juju McDowell on a kick return kind of put his hands out with his arms like this, and that kind of means like, okay, we're gonna take a touchback here, right? Not so fast. Juju does that, catches the ball, and then throws it across, actually behind me here, to the other side of the end zone to Nick Harbor, who then takes the ball out and runs for 25 yards. And it would have been, look, it's basically the equivalent of a touchback, but Brett was kind of PO about that, not very happy about it. And then kind of later in the drive for South Carolina, there's an Illinois injured player down, and Brett comes over to check on him, and then he kind of starts mincing words with Shane, and Shane has to get held back by like 3 different people on his staff. I mean, it was a whole fiasco, a mess. You got the teams kind of jarring at each other, kind of going rah-rah, this whole sort of thing. And Shane basically said, like, he talked to the Big 12 officiating crew leading into this game, told them that he was going to be doing that sort of play, and it seemed like it was okay, right? And, he basically said in his press conference, like, Brett needs to check the rule book because what they did was fine. And then, you have the whole situation with that going on, and a little bit of bad blood there. And then some other storylines from this game, not pertaining exactly to the game itself. Nicky Minwari, who said he was going to play in this game, leading in the weeks leading up to the Citrus Bowl, played the first half. Everything's all good. He's leading the way, I think, with like 5 tackles by that point. Second half comes, I start to notice that he's on the sideline, no helmet in sight, football in his hand, just hanging out, chilling. Like I don't know what was going on. And come to find out, he didn't play at all in the second half. He didn't go back in at all, no helmet, whatever. Other guys like Peyton Williams, other reserves on the defense had to step in and play. And look, one player doesn't make a defense, but when we saw this situation right here behind me, actually, when Miami was playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, Cam Ward, Miami's quarterback, played the first half of that game and then decided second half that he's done. Like that's it. Like he got his record, and Miami ended up losing that game. So I mean, look, if he were in there playing, maybe it's a different story. But it's the same deal with Nicky Minwari, right? Like, I'm not going to knock him for not playing the second half. Do what you want to do. It's best for your future. But me personally, and I think a lot of people probably feel this way, either play the entire game or don't play at all. I think that's kind of just the sentiment. But Nick didn't play at all in the second half, and then after the game, one of the reporters went up to him and asked him basically just what happened or whatever, and he basically clarified, confirming that this was his last game in South Carolina. So it's an internal, personal matter with the team. That's what Shane Beamer said after the game in the post game. We don't really know what the real thing that went on with this whole situation was, but that's basically the general summarization of the 2 instances that happened with the coaching scuffle and then with Nicky Minwari. And also just another point to bring up here before we kind of start diving into the game a little bit. TJ Sanders did confirm that he's gone. This was his last game at South Carolina. He's preparing for the NFL draft now, so he had 1 more year of eligibility to go, but obviously that will not be used as he does not plan on coming back to South Carolina for 2025. Now let's get to the game, because there was a football game tonight. Beyond just everything else that happened tonight, like there was a wedding out here. Ched Z, the Cheez-It mascot, doing all these crazy things. I mean, it's a bowl game. It's supposed to be fun, but I mean, South Carolina had their chances to win today. You left points on the board. You missed a 41-yard field goal, and then you ran a fake field goal where Kai Kroger throws a pass high in the sky up to Boogie Huntley in the end zone, and he had a chance to catch it. Like he had, the play was good. I know people are going to say the play was poor and all this and that. Shane shouldn't have ran it, and it was a wrong decision, this and that. It was a well-designed play. It's just two problems. Number one, the ball stayed up in the air for so long to where Illinois can make a play on it and knock it down. And number two, you have a defensive lineman in there to catch the ball. I know Boogie's got a touchdown in his career, but man, like, you could have put a tight end in that situation. Maybe Josh Simon, Maurice Brown, Mike Smith. Heck, I don't even know. Put someone else in there that is a pass catcher. That is their job. So that happened, and I don't know. It was a play. I don't blame them for doing it. It's just, if the pass didn't stay in the air for so long, maybe it's a different story. Maybe if you had a different guy in there catching it, I don't know. So that all happened in the first half, and then just kind of as the game wore on, South Carolina couldn't really seem to stop the run game for Illinois. Josh McCray, running back for Illinois, had 2 touchdowns today, both of which I believe came in the second half, and then he had a 60-yard run to kind of ice the game. But right before that, South Carolina had a chance to potentially take the lead, potentially win the game. We've seen them do these crazy things during their 6-game winning streak to close out the regular season, where they've had all these big moments that lead to wins, like obviously Lenore's 20-yard touchdown run to beat Clemson, and Rockets' go-ahead touchdown to beat Missouri in the final minutes, or final seconds, I should say, actually. And today we kind of almost saw the same thing. South Carolina is right up behind me here, about at the 7-yard line, a few minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and Lenore Sellers looks for a target to throw to on fourth down. He throws to Josh Simon, throws a little low, a little behind Josh, but it could have been caught. Ball goes in and out of Josh's hands, would have been a touchdown. And yeah, I mean, that was basically the game right there. Look, it is what it is. South Carolina is now 9-4 in the year. That's it for the season, actually. Now they turn the page to 2025. You'd like to have gotten that 10th win, obviously, but this was still a great season. A lot of great moments. Had a lot of fun covering this team. I mean, this was a fun group to cover. Think about it. This time last year, and heck, South Carolina wasn't even in a bowl game last year. This time last year, we were talking about, what's next for South Carolina? What's Shane Beamer's status for the future? What's going to go on with the team? They just won 5 games. Well, now they've won 9 games, and they've got a lot of momentum as the music blasts behind me for God knows what reason. South Carolina, there's a flag football game going on behind me, so apologies, but South Carolina has a lot of momentum going into next year, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be a really interesting season. I think there's going to be a lot more national attention on them. Heck, I wouldn't even be surprised if they end up in the preseason rankings, but the Gamecocks will have a long offseason and then be back in action August 31st, or August 30th, whatever date it is, on that Sunday, the last Sunday of August, to play Virginia Tech in Atlanta in the Aflac kickoff game. Should be a good one. We'll see what happens. That's a long time from now, but I appreciate all of you guys tuning into these videos. I know this is a little bit of a longer one, but a lot happened in this game, and we didn't even scratch the surface of just about everything, just the main points from tonight. But South Carolina, again, loses 21-17 to Illinois, finishes the year 9-4. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for everything throughout the season. I appreciate you guys. And for GamecockCentral.com, for the last time in 2024, I'm Jack Veltri.